Today we're going to do the summer combo. This is going to be fun. This is a dress I found at Nordstrom's. I thought, wow, that's Anne's top, and that's the yoga skirt, and that's just a little bit of change. So I'm bringing you this great dress. It's great for summer, and it's quick and it's easy. So I am going to combine two patterns. I'm going to combine together Anne's top, 115, and that's part of that little package we did because we knew this was coming along. And then I put 2010 on the bottom, which is the yoga skirt. It doesn't matter what you put on the bottom. It doesn't matter what you start with the top. I think the main lessons we're talking about today are combining two patterns together and then making a change to them, which I hope you'll find fun. We're going to make it a little asymmetrical. So I'm starting by taking the top and the yoga skirt and the Anne's top. They're both cut on the fold. So I'm going to take the two of them, put them together. I've overlapped them. And I've overlapped them because I know what I want my total dress length to be. And so I squish them until I get that total dress length. And then all I do in the side is just blend one into the other. Center fronts are going to be kept on the fold because that's what I want. And I did the same thing to the front and the back, and I make this front and the back the same length. So when I overlap this, because it's the length I want it to be, once I know how much I overlap it, I overlap the front the same, and then the side seams will match. Okay, that's step one. Now, because this is Anne's top, I want the collar and I want a sleeve. I've cut those. So then what I'm going to do, and actually before I do that, I'm going to tell you that when I cut this out, I have actually two whole fronts, and I'll show you why in a minute. So for fabric yardages, just to save a little bit of fabric, I cut the front on the fold because I wanted it that way. But because the skirt is so wide, it takes up a whole width of fabric. So you'd have to do 3 yards to make this dress. So because I didn't want to use that much and I only wanted to make 2 yards, instead of putting this on a back fold, I'm running a seam all the way down the back. Not any change to fit, not any change to anything, nothing. Just I have a seam down the center back because it saved me a yard of fabric. So if you don't care, if you want to use the 3 yards, no big deal, use the 3 yards. But by flipping, my fabric is non-directional. So by flipping one piece upside down and one piece this way, I saved a yard of fabric. So I just wanted to point that out. So when you look at the back piece, it's actually going to have a center back seam. Okay, there's no other changes done to the back. So actually for the back, I'm going to put this away. Now, when I go to use Anne's top, there's 4 pieces. There's the front, the back, the sleeve, and the collar. I'm using all of those. When I go to use the yoga skirt, there's the front and the back and the band. I'm not using the band. So I'm only using the 2 pieces at the bottom and then the 4 pieces from Anne's top. And again, I've cut the collar and sleeve. I'm just ready. I'm going to make one more change to the front. So this is all cut. I love the way that looks. And then what I've done with this, once I've overlapped it, you all understand how to overlap. I've cut 2 of these, and I'm going to put them together. And the reason I've cut 2 is I'll show you here. They're going to become asymmetrical or opposite of each other. And I'll show you just in a second here. So I did all that just so you didn't have to literally watch me do all of that. Okay, so there's 2 fronts there. They're the length I want them to be. They're everything I want. I'm excited. So how this works, and it's just one of these layers, so you're going to be careful because you're going to do both layers, but you're going to switch them around. Is you're going to take this and you're going to cut it. And I'm going to start about center front. And I'm just really literally going to curl it up to the side. Now I'm going to put a French curve on here in a minute. I've used a French curve for so many years on so many things that I don't necessarily need to lay it down, but I always come back and check it up. And so I can tell you the numbers that I used. I've got 3 over here at the side, and it comes down all the way to 20, and then it just continues to center front. So 3 to 20 is what I've done. And I'll show you why I've done that here in a minute. Because now what I'm going to do is cut the opposite side out of this side. You could put them right sides together and then just cut. The only negative of doing that is if you cut it wrong, you've got both sides messed up. The way I did it is if you cut it wrong, you could make that the underside and and still save it. So I'm going to line these up. I've lined the side seam up together. I've lined these darts up together, so everything's lined up just as it would be sewn. That's the part I cut away. And I'm going to do this the same. Now, you could do this in the pattern work. It's just a lot more work. As a pattern company, when I'm making a pattern, obviously I've got to do it in the pattern work. But this is really fun and easy to do this without doing it in the pattern work. Just cutting that away. So now if you've noticed, what I've done is I've cut the opposite sides away. So when I'm making this dress, I'm going to put these two sides together, and I'll make it and bring it back and show it to you. But see, you're going to see that this side comes up and has like a little curve to it on the top angle. So it's going to have a little scoop. Now, I'm doing this all in the same fabric. You could do it in different fabrics. You could do solid on top of a print and have the print showing through. Lots of fun ways you could do this. It's almost going to look like a wrap dress. And you could curve it up higher. I don't want that much. I just want a little bit of a curve down at the bottom. All right, so really, really fun to do. Really simple pattern work. We're combining it together, cutting off the side, kind of making it a little curved bottom, and the rest is the same. So we're going to go sew it, and we'll come back, and I'll show it to you. I'll put it on. How much fun is that? All right, see you in a few minutes. All done. Love it, love it, love it. Just like I wanted it, because I had a vision of what the dress was in the store, and I just love it. So Anne's top is the top part, and then it goes down to the yoga skirt. If you notice this portion right here, you can't really see that, but I still love it. I love it that it's just a design feature that doesn't scream. But again, if you did it in different fabrics, it would show more. But what I want to do is give you a sewing order, because it's sewn a little differently, not that much. But you're going to hem the curved part, and it'll go all the way down to the bottom on both sides. So the whole front will be hemmed. And all I did was serge and turn. You could leave it, no hem at all, but I just serged and turned. Then what you want to do is hem the back, because it's going to be hemmed. Because this goes into the side seam, there's nowhere to stop it, and there's nowhere to continue it to hem it. So just be warned that it's going to be hemmed a little differently than typical. I do my French darts, and I sewed both layers as one. So both layers on the front are sewn as one. They connect at the side, and then they separate at the bottom. So I sewed the French darts as one. I put the shoulder seams as one. I sewed it to the back, French darts, shoulder seams, and then I set in the sleeve, and you've got 2 layers in the front as it goes around, etc., etc. Set in the sleeve just like normal, and then do the side seams. And then you're done. It's weird to have the hem done first, but it is. So then what I want to show you is at the side seam, you'll see that the hem, and just make sure it's even. It's not a big deal. Just make sure the hem comes in together. And then I'm going to put one final stitch, and that's just going to be to hold that seam back and in place so that it doesn't look like it's serged. You could stop your hemming here, do the side, and then flip it over. If you wanted to, you could do that. But I actually looked at the dress to see how it was done in the store, and it was hemmed first, and then the seam was done, and you can tell by looking at it. All right, so you have all my secrets. Happy sewing from Silhouette Patterns.